forgot to mention that, hi, first of all, and then I said, I forgot to mention that, this is from November 15th to November 27th. There's 3 articles in this paper. So, I just finished reading Voice from the Darkness, Part 3, the final part, and now I'm going to read Inside a Psychiatric Hospital, Part 3 of 4. So here we go. Inside a Psychiatric Hospital, Part 3. By Raquel Lyons, Staff Writer. So, you've made it to the final part of this series, which is not quite true, but almost. The glitter is falling, the confetti is springing into the air. This is the heart of the series. What is it like inside a psychiatric hospitalization? Number 1. The people inside a psychiatric hospital are the same as you and I. Just as college students interact with each other by asking what major, what year, we too in the psych hospitals ask each other, what are you in for? Unless you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. I'm here because... Number 2. You'll likely hear stories of other inpatient units people have been to before. I've heard from the grapevine of a patient hiding from the staff in a cupboard, which is funnier than it should be. It was legitimately too, like, this guy was on the unit. Someone else that I met in my first hospitalization told me about how this guy at another hospital had, like, hidden in the cupboard so that the staff would think that he somehow got out, even though, like, the emergency exit thing would have made a noise, and they were, like, freaking the fuck out, but then they found him later on, so it was just funny. Dude hidden in a cupboard. Anywho. Number 3. You may see or hear things in an intense manner. For instance, I heard about some interesting action that happened in the ward before I got there. Never a dull moment is a common phrase said. People yelling expletives about getting their medications, people yelling otherwise at each other in an unfortunate spat, and so on. This experience can be very triggering and scary. I can't tell you what your experience will be like going into the unit. It depends on where you go. There are some amazing places in Massachusetts where you are taken care of and treated as the human being you are. And then there are places that are utter crud. Unless you know where the good places before you get transferred are at, it's a bit of a toss-up for where you'll end up. At the same time, psychiatric hospitalizations are not like how they are portrayed in movies. They are a place of safety where people who are unsafe to either themselves or others go for, essentially, a refuge for a few days. The length of time someone stays there depends on many factors, such as where they are in recovery, what they're dealing with, or if there are other programs nearby that better fit what issues they're having. My shortest stay was my first hospitalization at 5 days, my average is a week, and my longest was 8 days. You will likely find some of the most amazing, creative, wonderful, sweet, compassionate people within a psychiatric hospital. I'm talking about both the patients and the staff. Granted, people are people, so you may not mesh with everyone the right way. There were a few people I met that I wanted to punch in the face. I didn't, though, and it was a good time to utilize some more positive coping strategies. Sometimes I would get really irritated with the staff, but I kept my head cool because I knew acting out would only escalate the situation. Advocate for yourself and maintain patience and understanding. Those are my best tips. I have met people who inspired me during my psychiatric hospitalizations. I met people who were so creative that I got into drawing for mindfulness and art therapy. I met people who shared their stories with me, their other inpatient experiences, their struggles, and their vulnerability. Never forget that vulnerability is a strength. People within a psych unit are often very vulnerable. They're going through absolute manure and they're struggling, yet some of them are there for help and to get better. I encourage you to be an active participant in your own recovery journey, and for you to be one of those people who puts as much as they can into getting better. I didn't always want to be in the hospital, but I set aside my anger, my irritation, my sadness, and I attended groups they had throughout the days, and I made new friends. I got to know other people whom I still think about from time to time today. The various staffs in psych units are often doing the best they can. There's probably going to be someone you don't like as much, and that's normal. I didn't like all of the staff each time I was hospitalized, and I connected differently to each one, so I had my preferences. The psychiatric unit isn't always super serious all the time. In my second hospitalization, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy. In my fourth, we played cornhole, where you throw sacks of sand at a wooden box with a hole in it and try to get it in. I've played ping pong a number of times. I played some video games in my first hospitalization. To be continued in the next issue. That's all.